Okay, the es2 is the big brother of the es1. I think of the es2 as like the Swiss Army knife of logic synthesizers. It tries to do everything, and it does it quite well, except for the fact that it is in a very small bit of user interface. So that means it can be quite difficult to work out what's going on when you're not used to it. It has three main sections. The audio section up here. This is our oscillators going to a filter or two, into our amplifier, to some signal processing, to outside world. It has our controllers down here, envelope generators and LFOs, and a way of connecting the controllers to the various modules up here called routers. In other synthesizers it would be called a modulation matrix. Now, the default sound which comes with is all very well and good for showing it in a shop, but it's not a very good place to start programming. Now, a lot of people have a bunch of template sounds that they like to start with, which are here under the tutorial settings, but I normally like to make my own. And over the last couple of years I've gone through different types of setting to start with, but what I'm doing now is I go to analog, turn it to 0, I turn this CBD to 0, I turn oscillators 2 and 3 off, I set the mix all the way up the top of this triangle here so that we're hearing oscillator 1, which is playing a sawtooth. I put my filters in series and only use the second one, filter number 2, which is a low pass filter. I normally turn the fat control off, I open it up and I put the resonance down to 0. Then I turn this extra sine level off to 0. I turn off the flanger. That's all off. I normally set my oscillators to soft, and that's pretty much got all of this part initialized. Now, here it can become quite complicated, and what I tend to do now, I leave that. Envelope generator 2 controlling cutoff 1 and 2 is good, but I turn everything else off. So all of these routers here, their targets become off. At different times I've had different strategies for this, but this seems to be a good one. Alright, they're all off. And then I should have set these off to 0 first. Oh well. Now, the vector control, I turn that to be off. Vector mode is 0. Often what I would also do, I would turn these to 0 as well. Okay. Down here with our envelope generators and LFOs, I would tend to keep them pretty much as they are, although I would normally change that to sine waves. And that will sound like this. Just a basic sawtooth wave. And that is a good starting point for es2 programming.